Hello YouTube, gonna be doing another YouTube video today, but I have zero updates on the Prius because I'm still waiting for my coilovers. So today we're just going to be rebuilding these 19-inch Weds Ratzingers for one of my buddies. So the first thing I just wanted to brush on today is the difference between disc types. So disc types primarily is for brake caliper clearance. You will need a certain disc type in order to clear certain brakes, like big brakes, whether it be Brembos, etc. Now, the higher the disc is, the more brake caliper clearance there is. So on a lot of applications, if you're running a big brake kit, you need to run a high disc in order to clear the calipers, or you will have to use a spacer if the disc is not high enough. So over here we have a mid disc, over here we have a low disc. Both of the hub mounting surfaces are against the ground right now. So if we go down here, we can actually see that the low disc sits closer to the ground because the hub mounting surface is thinner and the mid disc sits a little bit higher than that. So when it comes to creating these different disc types, the companies will either adjust the curvature of the spokes on the face. They will adjust the thickness of the backing pad on the mounting surface behind the face of the wheel, or they will do a combination of both in order to reach those final disc types. And the last thing I want to go over is that disc type affects the offset, essentially. So if I were to put the exact same dimension lips and barrels on these wheels, the width will be the same, but the offset will be different. Because this mid disc sticks out further from the hub mounting surface, the entire wheel as a whole will stick out further from the car, and therefore that offset will be more negative. Now, if you can fit a low disc on your setup, clear the brake calipers and everything like that, you can actually build low disc wheels with bigger lips and not have to bump the offset down as negative as you would for a higher disc wheel. Oh, and last thing, running spacers is the equivalent of bumping the offset down the same thickness that the spacer is, okay? So if you're running an 18 by 10 plus 0 and you need to run a 20 mil spacer for fitment, to clear the brake caliper, whatever, that is the equivalent of bumping the offset down by 20, so your final offset would actually be 18 by 10 negative 20. Now, you need to keep this in mind if you already know that you're going to have to run spacers for your setup, or if you're getting new wheels built and you need to run a spacer with them, then you need to take that into account when it comes to calculating the final build specs for your wheels. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get these wheels together. So this is one of my AHAV trade secrets. This is a O'Reilly's bucket with a cloth over top of it. Now the lip and barrel are going to go behind the face. So what I do is I take the face, I put it on here upside down. Then after that, I can line the lip and then the barrel, and then I can get the hardware in to start getting it together. Alright, now I have the face of the wheel upside down on top of our clothed bucket. Now, once again, got to pay attention to the valve stem orientation. So for this wheel, the valve stem goes through one of the hardware holes. You'll notice that this hardware hole is drilled super big compared to all the other hardware holes. So this is how you know that this hole is the one that the valve stem goes through. Here is the 6.5 inch lip that's going to be going on the low disc over there. So once again, one hole is drilled larger than all the other ones for the valve stem, so we got to make sure that we line these two up when we go to put this lip onto the face. Here's our lip placed on top of the face. Now we're going to put the barrel on, and that'll be the last one that we have to align. Here's our 5-inch barrel. And once again, you can see the hole drilled there for the valve stem. So it's going to be a 90-degree valve stem that goes there and goes out through the barrel lip and the face. We got some new M7 Torx hardware. This is from Sensei 6. So we're going to go ahead and get this hardware in, get the nuts on, and then we'll be able to flip this wheel over to its side so we can get these torqued. So we got all the hardware in place. So keep in mind that on the front of these spokes, there is no hardware hole on the other side. So that's why there's only hardware in between the spokes. If you wanted to go that extra mile, there is actually threaded holes on some faces where you can put extra hardware here. But honestly, it's optional. It's not that necessary. If you've ever built like work VSKFs, which are a similar wheel to this, they actually don't use any hardware where the spokes go at all. So in this case, we're just going to make sure we torque all the hardware that we are actually using, and it should be enough. to hold it together, hold the seal nice, everything like that. So we got this wheel transferred sideways over to the spinner here. Once Adam comes over, we're gonna put blue Loctite on all these nuts, and then we're gonna torque everything to spec, but I'm gonna wait till he gets here. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get this other one together, but I probably won't show you the whole process because I just showed it to you on the other wheel. Alright, so we got our blue Loctite here, and we're gonna go ahead and get this wheel torqued down. So we're gonna do a modified star pattern. So we're gonna go here, 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 and then once we get everything torqued down, we're gonna go around in a circle and torque it one more time. Alright, so we got all 4 wheels assembled and torqued. So now we're gonna put masking tape around the seam, rub the seam with alcohol, and then we'll be ready to seal these. Alright, so we ran out of tape at the very last second, but we were able to find some more, so we still out here. So this seam is a lot smaller than the sandwich mount one because the face is not in between the barrel and the lip. So we just have this little seam here. So what we're going to do is put a bead, use a finger to smooth the bead, and then we're going to use a quarter to get the excess. Then we'll pull the tape off, go through it with the putty knife, and it should be good to go after that. Okay, so here's the silicone we'll be using this time today. So if you guys are interested, it should be just as good as the other one I used though. All done.